Sound the Eurythmics there at 105.7 Light FM. Good morning. They call me Morning Dave. We're at 8:42 here, 18 now before 9. Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. Time, check in and find out what's going on your money this morning on Wall Street and through the eyes of Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services, who's on the phone with us. Philip, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Dave. Doing well after, let's just say, kind of a rocky day yesterday. It looks like, at least right now, other than tech, we see some green ink. So that might be some good news to start off the day.
We'll take good news. Yeah, yesterday was rocky. Wouldn't be a bad term for it. It was not catastrophic, but it was no fun. Dow was down 167 points yesterday. Standard & Poor's down 59. NASDAQ almost 1.5%. It was not a good day. The NASDAQ exchange was down 337. And the interesting part was the sell-off seemed to be concentrated this time on software. I don't know which source ended up reminding folks of this, but all of a sudden everybody started saying, whoa, wait, I can get my weather forecast by asking ChatGPT. I can get just about everything else done through the artificial intelligence bots that are out there. What do I need to buy software for? And they sold software stocks like chiclets yesterday. You never know what's going to end up crossing people's minds and cause an entire sector to go south, do you?
No, it just takes one white paper. Somebody writes some article that traders think makes sense, and then all of a sudden they're dumping certain sectors. And so it seems to be that that's what happened yesterday. And it looks like right now it's going to continue to kind of follow through. The NASDAQ 100 is still trading in the red this morning on the futures market. So maybe we can turn everything else around, though.
Coding geeks are not having a good day today is the bottom line. We start the day out with a report that almost always is kind of an, small wake-up, but in the face of that few days of government shutdown, and we're not going to get the official government figure, this is what we got to go on. ADP, the big payroll service, put out their private sector job growth numbers for last month, and, well, El Stinko might be the right term. They expected around 45,000 new private sector jobs, which would have been mediocre to begin with. ADP says we only added 22,000 private sector jobs last month. I gotta believe that's upsetting a few investors out there.
You would think, obviously, it's not putting pressure on most of the futures this morning. So from that standpoint, it doesn't. It could be also good news is bad news is good news. Obviously, we were not going to get the unemployment numbers or initial claims tomorrow because of the shutdown. Though I know they're finally signing some bills, I think, that are going to, put people back to work. But I'm not sure how fast they'll get these things back together, though.
Well, that's the thing we learned after that 43-day shutdown, that after the government reopens, it takes them 3 weeks to figure out what they should have been doing the day before the shutdown began. And it's kind of, I don't get it. Yeah, the headline is that President Trump has, from what I've understood, now signed the extension bill that opens up the rest of the government that was shut down, except for the fact that we've got like a 2-week window at most for one bill, and that's to refund ICE, because the compromise was that they gave themselves a week or so to be able to figure out a compromise to refund the immigration service. So we're going to have to do that all over again and argue about that. But with a little bit of luck anyway, it won't affect the economic reports that come out of the government anyway. I'm mentioning it was software yesterday. I mean, we had a few companies that reported, like Palantir, big hardware company. They reported, closed up 8% yesterday, and today we're going to end up getting kind of a combination of hardware and software together. The parent of Google, Alphabet, reports at the end of the day. I got a sneaking hunch that if Google kicks butt for us after the close today, that'll probably put everybody's mind on software into a little bit more peaceful mode, wouldn't you guess?
Probably so. We'll see what those numbers look like. Anything to the upside should help. the software sector, at least a little bit. Though, Google is a lot of things. Software is just one of them. So see how that meshes together with everything else. But talking
Yeah, I was
about
going to say that.
hardware, all right, go ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, I was
I
going to
was,
say they're kind of a hybrid these days. They license the Android software and then manufacture a line of phones themselves. So it's kind of a half and half software and hardware company, in addition to all the other vagaries of cloud computing and search engines and the like. It's an interesting company, to say the least.
that is. And so we do have a few earnings that have, starting to pop out here.
Yeah.
On the hardware side, we had Super Microcomputers. They had a good quarter, beat by 20 cents a share. Revenue was over 2 billion more than expected for the quarter, and they've come out with their 2026 anticipated numbers. They expect revenue to be somewhere around $40 billion. That compares to the 36 billion that was kind of the estimate. So it looks like they are going to be doing well. At least that's what the numbers seem to indicate. They're up about 9.25% right now before we get trading. We had a couple other stocks. I mean, we actually had a lot of stocks come in today.
Hmm.
Uber reported.
Oh,
Um,
how'd they do?
well, they missed on earnings.
Oops.
Yep, they missed on earnings, and so they are trading down right now. Well, no, excuse me. They were trading down earlier this morning, and they flipped it around. They're up 2.2%. So you just never know. Just never
I,
know.
you never know what's going to prompt somebody to buy or sell in the process. I think what was it? AMD was supposed to have released their report yesterday, and they did well, and then proceeded to trade downward. You can't win.
Yeah. Advanced Microsystems, AMD, they did. They, their revenue was ahead of expectations, and but their margins seem to be what's having a little bit of issue with them. But let's see where they are now. They were down earlier 9%. Now they're down about 10.3%.
Ouch!
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've been one of the hot tickets with their new chips they've been developing too. So much for software being the only casualty yesterday, right?
Yeah. Hey Dave, are you helping? Are you helping Match Group hit their numbers? The online dating app,
Okay.
they saw a big jump in earnings. They beat by 13 cents a share at 83 cents. Revenue ahead of expectations as well. And so they're trading up today 7.33%.
Well, we may not be able to find a job, but we are lonely, right?
It seems to be the case. I mean, people are looking for love everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Um,
find a rich date on Match.com, right?
uh, hey, Enphase Energy,
Yeah,
they're the supplier of solar and battery systems.
they made my
Um,
solar system, so I kind of watch them. How'd they do?
okay, they revenue ahead of expectations, and they kind of upped their guidance for the first quarter. They were up as much as 23%. Let's see where they are right now. Right now, they're up 25%, Dave.
Cool. They've got
So,
one of the. I don't. I'm not well enough versed to be able to say they are the high end, but they make one of the higher end sets of solar systems with the individual inverters on each panel. So you get a little bit more reliable solar system when you use their system. So I've been watching them because they're on the high end of the price range.
gotcha. Okay. So they did well, did well. I'm
Cool.
going to say the last one I have for you is going to be Eli Lilly. Uh,
Okay.
Eli Lilly posted higher than expected results on both the top and bottom line. They issued their full year guidance, expecting earnings to be somewhere between $33.50 and $35 a share, which is a little higher than expectations were for them. They're trading up almost 8.5% this morning.
All righty. Resetting the table for the morning. It was a generally off day on the equities market yesterday. Mostly one sector. Let's see whether or not it improved this morning. How are we doing 45 minutes ahead of time?
Again, the only red ink we have is the NASDAQ 100. It's down about 1/3%. The Dow's up almost 1/4%. S&P 500 is up 1/10%, and the Russell 2000 is up almost 0.4%. So, other than the Nasdaq 100, looking pretty good. On the other side, silver up a little over 9.5%. Gold's up almost 2.9%, and crude oil is down 1/4 point right now, $63.05 a barrel.
I think it's still considerably up from yesterday morning, though, so I'm not ecstatically happy with that, even though it's down from the overnight close. Overseas markets, the Asian Rim generally was happy overnight. The only downer was the Nikkei in Japan. Everybody else was up. The mainland Chinese markets were both up, averaging about 0.5% at the close this morning. Over in Europe, it's a little more of a mixed bag, but still generally up, with the exception of the German market. I got some fractional improvements. European indexes on average of about 1/4% halfway through their trading day. Getting my retirement together so that I can survive these ups and downs and, whoops, surprise sector sell-offs like yesterday. I need some eyes to help me with that. How do I find you to get my plans back on track?
David, give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule a 30-minute phone call. We'll look at where they are, talk about what they need to do to make sure that they get the retirement they always dreamed of, and just make sure they're on track. And then catch the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m., 95.3 FM.
And newstalk730am.com. I thank you so much, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow, all right?
All right, man. Have a good one.
Take care. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Philip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope your week is going well. Join us tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, have a great day. Bye now.